right? So next up, we're going to be talking about maintaining healthy services. So in the previous video, we saw how we can monitor what's going on within our DXP Cloud instances. Next up, we're going to see, well, if things are not going the way that we expect them to, how do we make it work? How do we make things better? So starting off, we're going to be talking about auto scaling. Auto scaling is pretty straightforward. It's in its name. So if we have a massive amount of traffic coming our way, we get our notifications and we see within the web console that a lot of CPU usage is going on, a lot of RAM is being taken up, and if we don't do something right away, our instances are going to go down. So just click a button, auto scale takes over, and then we have more instances for us to handle the load, right? Within the web console, you can then take a look and see with those new instances, how is the load being handled now, right? If we need more, we can get more, and we can keep our eyes on how things are going as we scale up. Of course, you can always scale down when things are taken care of, traffic dies down. That's the first part. Auto scaling is very good. Now let's talk about a little bit more in the development world. Let's say we're working with a specific application, we deploy it, and maybe something goes wrong. How would we know? This is where the logs come into play. You can access the logs, you can see what sort of errors may have passed through, maybe some stack traces or anything else. So you can either access the logs through the web console, you can download the logs, move it to your favorite text editor, or you can access the logs through the command line using this command right here. So 3 different ways that we can get our log files. Finally, we're going to talk about health checks. Now, DXP Cloud is already doing a health check for you and gives you that status of either none, healthy, or unhealthy. So that's going on, keeping you kind of up to date as to what's the status. That's what the health checks are doing for us. So if things are unhealthy, right, we get a notification, allows us to remedy the situation. Now, with our health checks, we can also create our own custom health checks as well, using our special JSON file that we've become very accustomed to. You can create your own health checks, right? So you can set up specific parameters, set up specific conditions, and set up custom commands as well, so that if your health check that you've created fails, then DXP Cloud will let you know. One last thing here, zero downtime deployments. As we deploy our applications into DXP, right, we want to make sure that there's no downtime between the time that we deploy and the time that our application is successfully deployed. And as we go through our environments, the same story applies. Lucky for us, we don't really have to worry about this zero downtime deployment. It's already set for us by default. If for some reason you do want some downtime between your deployments, you can always disable that within that JSON file. So a quick knowledge check here. Again, as always, if you want to pause the video, fill this out yourself, feel free to do so. Otherwise, let's go ahead and see what these answers are. So starting from the beginning, auto scaling allocates more resources to your services before platform performance is affected, right? Just a button click. Next up, you can access your service logs in which 3 ways? We have these 3 here, the web console, your command line, or you can download it, again, kind of technically in the web console. And by default, that zero downtime deployment is configured as true, so we don't need to worry about that. So that wraps it up for this video. We'll take a look in the next video on how we can actually do some of these things. So until then, I'll see you in the next video.